A very good morning to you and welcome for another thought for the day. So great that you come and share some time with me every day. It's wonderful. I'm looking at a little verse in Titus. Titus is a little book just before Hebrews, written by Paul to his friend, to his convert Titus. And in chapter 3, beginning of chapter 3, it says, remind them, that's the people he ministers to, remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for any honest work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarrelling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy towards all men. That's a wonderful thing. You know, Paul's letters are lovely because usually they follow a pattern. There's a salutation, hello to whom I'm writing to. It's from me, Paul, and this is what I'm thinking about. This is the main reason why I'm writing. And then he does some doctrinal bit, which is very, very helpful, and and then he always follows it up with practical advice for how to live. And we need this advice at this time because almost every day our government is giving us different instructions, and there is a tendency in quite a large portion of our population to rebel, to not conform to what the government and the local authorities are asking us to do, because there are people who will contend about everything. But Paul's advice here to Titus is the same to us. Remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities. The mark of the Christian should not be rebellion. The Christian does not get things done by rebelling. It's interesting, we were reading the other day the next letter, which is a letter to Philemon, and that was about a runaway slave, Onesimus, who'd become a Christian and who had met Paul in Rome, and Paul was sending him back to his master, to his slave master. He was a slave, and sending a letter with him to Philemon, asking Philemon to treat Onesimus not as a runaway slave, but as a brother in Christ. And he does not anywhere in the New Testament tell Christians to rebel against slavery, which was a normal part of life in the Roman world. Many men, probably more people were slaves in the Roman world than were free. Certainly in Rome that would have been true. So rebellion is not something we should do. There's a verse in the Old Testament, I think it's in 1 Samuel, that says rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. We should not be rebelling. But here we are told to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for any honest work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarrelling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy towards all men. What wonderful advice. This is something to think about. We don't need neon lights from God to tell us this is how we should live. We should be gentle. We shouldn't be marching up and down and in your face and telling the authorities what they should do. We should be respectful. There's nothing to stop us writing to the authorities or having contact with them, but our attitude should be submissive and should be compliant, obedient, ready for any honest work, ready to speak evil of no one. That's quite difficult to do, to speak evil of no one. But to honestly assess if someone has done something wrong, we are encouraged in other parts of the scriptures to go to them on a one-to-one basis and talk to them. And if they're part of our church, then if they won't listen to us, to talk to the leaders of the church. We're not to condone wrong, but we are not to gossip, to speak evil of other people. We're not to gossip. We're to watch our tongues. Our tongues have the power of life or death. Our tongues are very powerful. And what we say is what we get. So we have to be careful what we say. Speak evil of no one, to avoid quarrelling, to be gentle, to show perfect courtesy towards all men. This is a wonderful ideal to live up to. But we don't do it to earn salvation, because it says in verse 7, we might be justified by his grace and become heirs in hope. Justified by his grace. He saved us, verse 5, not because of deeds done by us in righteousness. We don't get what God is giving to us because we behave well. We behave well because we've got what has been given to us. Our actions are not the root of our faith. They are the branches of our faith. Our faith is in Christ, who saved us not by anything we did, but by grace. It's wonderful. That's Titus 3, verse 1. Have a think about that and meditate on how we should live. And if there's any part of your life that does not conform to that, then simply ask the Lord to help you. Ask the Lord to change you. Ask the Lord. Ask the Lord to forgive. And today is a brand new day. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.